is my joy right now to introduce Evan Roberts. You guys know Evan because he's a member of the Storytellers Project team. He works with us at USA Today, and he's in charge of all of our marketing, our social media, tons of stuff. If you like our new social media look, follow us on social. If you don't now, Evan was in charge of rolling it out. So thank you so much. I don't know. Thanks, Evan. I am excited to hear your story.
Thank you. All right.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. So I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. Grew up in a neighborhood called Orange Mound, which is designated as the first African American neighborhood in the United States built by African Americans for African Americans. That was around the late 1800s. And by the time, it was a nice place to be at the time, but by the time I arrived in the late 80s, it was, not so nice. But my street was still very nice. There were a lot of older people on my street, a lot of young families. My parents had 5 kids. I'm the middle child. And so that was most of the street right there. But yeah, we had a lot of friends that were around in the neighborhood to play with, and we'd always play things, like cops and robbers, or Power Rangers, or the X-Men, or what have you. Just all kinds of toy weapons, toy guns. I remember I had a slingshot, like Dennis the Menace, that I got really good at hitting stop signs with. And my dad had been a Boy Scout when he was a kid, and he taught us how to make our own bow and arrow, and how to make the wood pliable by soaking it in the tub overnight, so that when you cut a T notch in the top, and tie a string around, you can make the arrow, really fly, and make the bow itself pliable. So all kinds of things like that. And, there were just always kind of toy weapons around, water guns, Nerf guns, that kind of thing was not out of the ordinary. But then there were other things. I remember when I was 8 or 9, I found a rusted machete behind my aunt's house, and it was in a bush. I took it out and cleaned it up a little bit, and I asked my parents if I could keep it, and they said yes. So that was a great toy. It was fun to hack, bushes and, tree limbs and things like that. I was probably a monster. But I also played a lot with Legos, of course, with my siblings, with them, and then also by myself. So when we moved from Memphis to Cleveland Heights, I was just really sad at the time. I didn't like Cleveland at first. I love it now, having grown up there. But at the time, I was just really lonely. I wanted my friends from Memphis. I wanted my family. And I think the increase in my Lego collection from my parents at that time was maybe their way of easing some of my angst, whether that was conscious or unconscious, I'm not sure. But I also remember one time when I was a kid in Memphis where, we had, as most houses might, small rodents, rats, mice, that kind of thing. And my dad rented a 9mm pellet gun to take care of it. And he kept it in a locked box in the trunk. And one day he was letting my older brother and myself and my younger brother just see it, hold it, get a feel for it. And I guess my mom came out. She came out and saw it, and she was like, "Nope." So he had to take it back. I didn't really think anything of it at the time. I just thought, she didn't like guns. But so yeah, we're in Cleveland, and when I was in the 5th grade, I was walking home from school one day, going home to play with my Legos, and I got it in my head somehow that it would be fun to make a toy gun out of Legos. I thought that would be cool. I thought it would look like that 9mm that I had seen, and I wanted to get as close as possible with the pieces that I had. So the first thing I did was I dumped all my Legos out into the floor, all over the carpet, and began separating, all of the red and green and yellow and blue pieces away from all of the black pieces, because I knew I wanted to be matte black. And then I started stacking large Legos up and tried to get, the grip of it right about the length of my hand. And after that, I got the right length. I, took it apart and started replacing those sections with different size Legos, some with rounded edges, so that the grip felt better in my hand. Next, I did the action so that I could have it so that it looked like a real hammer, a real gun's hammer. And then I did the nozzle with a little orange piece for the sight at the top, and also so you could tell it was a toy. Cap guns, all kinds of things like that have like a little orange cap on them that you can tell it's not a real gun. And then I did the trigger, and I went through maybe 4 or 5 or 20 iterations of a trigger, finally landing on this hinge piece that was probably originally for some space or airplane wing or something like that. But it worked really well because it could go like in and out like that, like a real gun trigger. And so by the time I was finished, I maybe spent like 2 or 3 hours on this thing. And I was so excited. I found my older brother and I brought it to him. I was like, yo, look what I got. And he kind of jumps a little bit. And he said, where did you get that? I was like, I made it. It's Legos. Look, it's cool, right? He was like, yeah, that's awesome. And I was like, should I keep the little orange piece on it? And he looked at me and I looked at him. And we were both like, nah. So I took it off. And I kept my little toy Lego gun for about 2 weeks, I would say. Just taking it around, playing with it. And, I would sleep with it under my pillow. And we moved into a duplex in Cleveland. My house was on the second floor. And there was a window that went out onto the roof that overhung the front porch, and it was shaded by 2 large buckeye trees. And so I would lay down and pretend to shoot the tires out of the cars passing by. One day I was playing with it outside, and my younger brother was playing with me. And I remember right as I was going to take it out and pointed at him, my mom came home from work, and she pulled in and stopped immediately in the front, kind of haphazard, not like she normally did. She normally parked in the back where the garage was, but she kind of whips in and jumps out the car and says, boy, get in the house. And I knew she was talking to me. So I walked up the porch, went inside, and sat on a couch. Like I said, I'm from the South, so when your mama tells you to do something, you do it. And she comes in and puts her bag down, and she says, where did you get that? What do you have? And I hold it in front. I was like, Mom, it's Legos. It's a toy. I made it. And I took the hilt piece off of the top and put it back together so she could see it was just a toy. And she kind of does this sigh of relief. And she looks at me and she says, I want you to take it apart piece by piece, and I don't ever want to see it again. Don't you ever build that again. Do you understand me? And I say, yes, ma'am. And at the time, I thought her reaction was a little much, a little overblown, but I get it now. I just thought she didn't like guns.